The presenters today are Andy Hansen, Director of Vocational Sales for Volvo North America, and John Barnes with Tech Equipment.
Good morning, and on behalf of Volvo and Tech Equipment, thanks for the opportunity here to talk to you. Anyways, with that, we'll be talking about our I-Shift transmission, which is our proprietary AMT transmission. In the last few years, we've had several different iterations come out to the marketplace, so we'll touch on those product improvements and new releases, as well as remote programming, which is a fantastic way to speed up repair services for you guys. We'll touch just a little bit on autonomous driving, and then John's going to talk to you about our impact program. So with that, our AMT transmission, our automated manual transmission, has been in the marketplace for many, many years. And as of the beginning of this year, it now is in 90% of all vehicles that Volvo produces in North America. So the market acceptance is there and has been validated also in the used truck marketplace, where the values for a truck with an AMT now garners more money than a truck with a traditional manual transmission. So we're very comfortable with this product. A couple of years ago, we released a version of it since our last meeting in Alaska, our SD version. And that thing, we changed some metallurgy in it, and we changed some oil in it, and now we're saying it can haul up to above 200,000 gross combined weight rating. So the power, the ability of this transmission really is there. So last year, we rolled out more gears. It's always been a 12-speed box, and now we've moved it up to a 13 and a 14-speed box. And we'll jump into some of that as well. And those extra gears then allowed us more in reverse. And of course, we only ship it with a few reverse opened up, but if you have an operation or a particular job site where you need more gears in reverse, you can go pretty darn fast in reverse with this I-Shift transmission. It's also available in direct and overdrive. And it's a two-pedal operation, so it's just like an automatic transmission where you don't have to start with the clutch, which was the first versions of these AMTs out there people didn't like. Also, it is lightweight, so if you take an I-Shift and you put it up against a transmission with a torque converter, you're going to save about 250 pounds, which is significant. And the price point is somewhere midpoint between a manual transmission and an automatic transmission. So there's a lot of reasons to take a look at this product in the marketplace. With the rollout of our GHG 17 engines this year, we've also made further improvements to the I-Shift. Our countershaft braking has been improved. We've got new logarithms in there to accommodate for faster shifts, so the driving experience has been really improved. And we've addressed some of the torsional vibration issues with some bigger spring packs in the clutch. With the 14-speed and 13-speed box, just to kind of give you an idea of what the capabilities of this transmission now are, in crawler gear 1 on the 14-speed transmission, you're able to drive without slipping the clutch at either 6 to 7/10 of a mile an hour. So that's crawling. That's really, really crawling. And the second step there on that transmission is 19 to 1. And on the 13-speed transmission, which I think is really applicable to your operations, that first gear, that crawler gear, is in the 17 to 1 category. And that's comparable to your 8LL transmission, your 9LL transmissions that you may already use. So if you're looking at where do I want to place this transmission, the 13-speed is comparable to your 9LLs, 8LLs out there. Also, in the bottom left-hand corner here of this slide, this is what we call our DID, our driver information display, for those who aren't familiar with our product. And here it shows you that the vehicle's in drive, and then you're in crawler gear 2 in this example, and those arrows to the right and to the left show you what gears are available for you to shift into. And so in this situation, they can drop down back to 32 to 1, or they can go into first gear. So it's really, it's got a good heads-up display for the driver as he's operating that transmission. It's also important to note with this transmission in terms of packaging, traditionally the I-Shift came with a gear selector on the side of the driver's seat. And in our applications here, in the municipal market, often we have body equipment controls right there. So we have a dashboard gear selector here, which is at the top of the screen. But certainly for functionality of the transmission, the gear selector that sits on the side of the chair, you can go up and down gears without without having to really reach towards the dash. So it's really a nice feature to have if you can package it correctly. Also, with the advent of the SD, which is that's a severe duty I shift that I mentioned earlier that we launched a few years ago, we started adding a lot more application-specific functionality to the box. So the first one up here, I have paver assist. So if you guys are ever in paving operations and you need to move from neutral as the paver's pushing you and slide it into drive, you can do that now without actuating the brake. So there's a lot of deficits that we had out originally where the programming wasn't available. But here, as you read down the list, we do have a lot of nice programming features available. For instance, auto neutral. When we brought it to the United States, auto neutral was delayed by 30 seconds. And if you compare that to an Allison's auto neutral, which is instantaneous when you actuate the air brakes, we've now changed that. So, what you expect when you order something, well, it says auto neutral, what does that mean? Well, in that 30 seconds, a lot can happen, unfortunately. And you could overcome the service brakes if you want to throttle down on the pedal. But now that's been programmed out of the box. Kick down mode, that's just for drivability. If you need to speed up, you just hammer down on the pedal and it'll downshift for you. And then a lot of complaints about AMTs have been, well, I get stuck. Well, I get stuck. How do I get out of a spot? And we have two features, a rock free, which you can move from reverse to drive and back and forth and rock yourself out of a hole, or you can launch yourself out of a hole with our power launch feature. Maybe I should rephrase that because I'm with Volvo. One of the core values of Volvo is safety, so you can smoothly exit a stuck position by revving up the RPM and dropping it in gear. And then hill start assist is simply when we're with a manual transmission. We all know you can roll back, and this just keeps the service brakes applied as you move your foot from the brake to the throttle. So you have that holding position that you'd feel in a torque converter transmission in an AMT situation or application. So also for work trucks here, the iShift is really capable, and it always has been here with our offering of PTOs. These are all Volvo designed PTOs. We sold off the designs to Parker. They manufacture them for us. They are all wet splined PTOs. They are available in our product right from the factory, I should say. So they're serialized, so when you build a truck, we know exactly what PTO it has. Those PTOs are available with 1310 and 1410 SAE flanges as well as DIN flanges. And that PTO carries the same warranty as the transmission. Furthermore, we can ship this transmission with pumps, whether it be piston or gear pump, and those are Parker, made by Parker, and they carry the same warranty as the chassis itself. Stepping into the next part of the presentation, I would say that Volvo has been an industry leader in remote diagnostics, and it's been a great success for us. Coming standard from the factory, all Volvo trucks have remote diagnostics. We're able to read fault codes in the transmission, in the engine, and in the emission systems. We're able to report back to you as fleet managers what's going on with the truck, whether the parts are available, and then communicate with the dealer that this truck needs attention, or conversely, that the truck is still able to be operated until maybe the next PM, or maybe at the end of the shift you need to take a look at it so you can keep going in your operation for the day. So this has been great for us. So we're able to listen to the truck via cellular signals, and what this does is this kind of, so we've gotten some industry awards for this type of software. But what this does is this is given us the ability to listen to the truck, but also now talk to the truck, and that's where remote programming comes into play. And here I'll just address some of it. Yesterday we were all asked, do we have smartphones? And of course we all have smartphones, and when you need a software update, you just click, yes, I'd like a software update. You can either select it today or you can select it over the weekend if it's going to take a little time, you need to keep on working. And all those principles apply to Volvo trucks and remote programming. The ATA says, I'm glad this actually filled the screen, this is supposed to be 2.3 days. So 2.3 days is what it takes to program a truck. So, and these are ATA numbers, not Volvo numbers. So this is industry numbers. On average, it takes 2.3 days to program a vehicle. And on average, a Class 8 truck requires 2 software updates in a year. So you're losing your vehicle's utility a full week out of every year just for software updates. So the impact is quite dramatic. Remote programming is our solution. And with remote programming, this is just kind of a couple slides that run you through a really simplistic version of it. But, hey, either the fleet manager calls Volvo and says, I want to change some parameters inside my ECM. So we have the ability to change, whether it be road speed or other operating conditions. You want to reward the driver with certain parameters. You can do that and tell Volvo to do that for you. And then we will get the software package ready for the truck. We will communicate back to the fleet manager that the software is ready to be downloaded. We will then place that software onto the truck, and then the fleet manager and Volvo can contact the driver, and they can download it over a lunch break, and then they can be back on the road. A group of people who can diagnose and troubleshoot trucks on the spot, and it's staffed 24/7, 365. So with that facility, that allows us to go out and start programming these trucks remotely. So it's fantastic technology. Like I said before, we can touch the engine, the transmission, and the emission system remotely. Our BBM, for those who are familiar with the Volvo product, our bodybuilder module, still there is a firewall between that. And we think with the advent of our next electrical system, TIA 2 Plus, we'll be able to then adjust body parameters. We should be able to adjust PTO 1 because that's housed inside of our ECM, but PTOs 2, 3, and 4 we'll have to wait for the next electrical system to start doing remotely. And it is proprietary software, so we have control over a lot of things. When is it available? So starting with the advent of the GHG engine, so the beginning of this year, late last year, those engines will have the ability to do some remote programming. There are people in this room right now who are running test case, John? Yes, for us. So people in the room have experience with it, with the first version of it. And with the migration, we launched new models this summer and into the fall, and those have new DID displays. And so what you saw there in the video will be either further streamlined, where the driver will just get a signal on his dash saying, hey, software is available, and he can download it without all the interaction on a lot of scenarios. So it will be further streamlined going forward with our new models. And what the next 3 slides show is what those new DID driver information displays will look like here. Hey, you got an update available, you initiate it, you can see the status bar on the progress of it, and congratulations, you're done and down the road. So take that 15-minute experience as opposed to 2.3 days, and you really have a nice feature. I was asked just to touch briefly on autonomous vehicles. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday here, but in terms of what Volvo's doing in this realm, our idea is intelligent vehicles. One of our first core values, we have 3 core values as a corporation. One of them was safety. Everybody associates Volvo with safety, and that's one. Since we started building cars, and was it 1916 and 1917 was our first truck, it's been an important thing for us, and we feel that the autonomous vehicle push will help us further that initiative, as well as intelligent transportation touches on the environmental impact. And since 1974, it's been a key core value of Volvo trucks. One of the 3 values of Volvo trucks is environmental care. So this is at the root of who Volvo is. And the benefits are obvious, and we don't need to harp on them, but congestion and age driving, distracted driving, all these things are reasons to push for this technology. So instead of saying, this is Buck Rogers stuff, really far off stuff, what systems are we using to implement this? And if you read through these, you quickly realize, hey, this is actually on my car. For our truckload customers, this stuff is standard on our trucks today with the new models. So this is all technology that we're currently using. I mean, stability control systems have been around for a long time. The 6-channel braking system, being able to brake wheels independently, allows us to control the vehicle in certain ways. Blind spot detectors, that's that lane change assist thing in the center upper box. hey, that's fantastic. So we're able to see what's on the side of the cars. Dynamic steering. I don't know how many people in the room got to see the Van Diesel videoette that we published, where Van Diesel is standing between two Volvo trucks as it's driving down the road, and they start to pull away, and he does the splits, and then the trucks come back, and there's nothing supporting them. It's absolutely shocking. But that's done via a computer driving our trucks, and that's the dynamic steering. That's fly-by-wire stuff. So we're able to turn the wheels without the input of a driver now. So that stuff's out in the marketplace and proven technology. Adaptive cruise. You want to drive at 55 miles an hour. John and I are in the car, we're talking it up, and then there's a car ahead of me that's only driving 50. Before I know it, I'm driving 50 miles an hour, and I'm 10 minutes down the road before I realize it, because our car is slowed down to 50 miles an hour. That technology is out there. I have it in my car. It happens to me all the time. So lane keeping, we're able to see where the truck is in the lane without GPS. So we don't need a good signal. We can see the lanes on the road. We can keep the vehicle on the road. That's in cars today. It turns down your radio and gives you a little beep. It says, hey, you're starting to glide over the lane. Pay attention. You don't even need a rumble strip. The trucks are doing that. The cars are doing that today. And then forward collision, where we're applying the brakes in an accident situation. So when we bundle all these technologies that are currently available, it gives us a lot of capabilities. And in 2 slides, I'll show you another video of how that's applied in Volvo trucks. The other piece of technology that we're seeing out there that's going to help us do the autonomous is the vehicle-to-vehicle communication and the vehicle-to-infrastructure, V2V and V2I. And that's all transmitted over, 5.9 gigahertz. It was allocated by the FCC in 2012 for safety for vehicles. And the good news is commercial vehicles, whether they be a Volvo or they be another brand, they all communicate and all have the same type of software packages inside of them. So communicating between brands won't be a problem for us. And this type of technology, as we roll it out, we're experimenting with it, and that will further our progress into autonomous operation.
Volvo Trucks has now developed an entirely new technology which could eliminate the risk of accidents completely. This unique system is able to analyze and respond to a truck's surroundings. The technology allows a 360-degree scan of everything that happens in the vehicle's environment. The truck then analyzes the traffic around it. It also makes it possible to predict up to 5 seconds ahead what surrounding objects like people, cyclists, and other vehicles will do, even when moving. In a turn, a truck driver's field of view can be limited on the passenger side of the vehicle. But here, the system detects the approaching cyclist and warns the driver. If the driver doesn't stop, the truck brakes for him. By alerting the driver to risks and, when needed, taking over control of the vehicle, the system helps eliminate human error and the risk of accidents.
So, I mean, the implications are fantastic, and it's just it's something that we're really excited about. And I'm gonna skip through some of this to give John some time to talk about impact. But there are regulators out there, and Volvo's deep into this. We're partnering with UC Berkeley and PATH here in California to practice this, to try this out. And I think we talked about that yesterday, so I won't harp on it. But there's many different companies that are pursuing this technology of platooning. And we think that is going to be the first step towards autonomous vehicles here in the United States.
All right. As Bruce said, I'm John Barnes. I'm with Tech Equipment. I'm regional fleet and municipal sales for Tech in the Northwest, primarily Oregon and Washington. I also have been called in to help out our other branches down in California and Nevada from time to time. So what I kind of, and I don't have much time, so I'm going to push through a lot of this. Tech's motto really is we're your best business partner, and we really try and take a partnership approach to everything that we do. And a lot of that is giving you guys, our customers, as many tools as possible so you don't have to rely on us for everything. So one of the things that we have is the impact system. So this system that I'm logging into is a system we give you guys access to also. So you won't have quite as many things across the top of your screen. to choose from. You can't order trucks off of it, which would eliminate my position, so we don't really want to do that. But one of the couple of the big things that we can do is we can give you guys access to the impact system, which this is identical to what our parts department uses when we're looking up parts for you guys. Lists out all the parts for us. Search by you can search by a function or a group. You can search through catalogs. You can do additional search values, keywords. So we can go, if we wanted to look into the function groups, any one of your parts departments, parts people in the warehouse, wherever, can just look in, get a quick snapshot of the system that they need to look into. And then from there, so say we wanted to get into the transmission, do a quick search, find the counter shaft, then it outlines everything that you're needing inside there, and you can basically call up the dealer, give him the part number direct out of this system, and from there they can give you pricing and availability, if they have it on the shelf, if they need to get it or not. There are some of your guys' contracts mandate necessity for hard copies of parts and service DVDs or literature. This basically is anything and everything you could possibly want, and this is continually updated. So this eliminates the need for any kind of updates to service literature that we would give you at the time of delivery. And you can go into the service side, search up the same truck, looking at the transmission. We can go right back, well, we'll go into the input shaft instead of the counter shaft, and you get a step-by-step how to replace that part or that component, any special tools that you need, cautions and dangers. Make sure you set the parking brake and don't turn the truck on while you're doing this. You know, the difficult stuff you have to remind technicians about. But it really does, we've gone around and done trainings on these, and there's some of these systems and services that are inside here that are phenomenal. If you guys, we're running low on time, but if you guys wanted more information about this, we're definitely available to pass along anything and everything you need. Ton of other systems we can give you guys access to, online training for technicians, for operators. You can get a whole, like this is my training, so it doesn't really go into too much on it, but too much of what you guys would see. But it's basically you have online classes, and then you have some that you have to actually attend in person, and it'll outline it in this, and we're more than happy to throw those trainings for you.
So my question is more on the body control module integration side of things. You guys mentioned briefly that you had an intelligent body control module and hooked into it. Can you elaborate a little bit, just a quick overview of that system for me?
Sure, yeah. Our BBM is standard on our work truck, and that BBM houses PTOs 2 through 4. It houses a whole suite of things, whether it be road speed in a digital format or in an analog signal. You can adjust engine torque through there. You can read engine torque. It's got extra power capability in terms of it's got 3 15-amp circuits and 1 30-amp circuit. Is there a particular area that you want me to address?
Oh, I was just curious. Over the years we've gotten many different manufacturers of equipment, and it's kind of in my domain now. And so I was looking from an electrical standpoint. We're in manufacturing, so anytime we can save off of manufacturing a piece of equipment. So if you have like a remote power module in there, hooked into your body control module, is sweet. And I know you mentioned software, so I didn't know if that body control module was also programmed over the air, or how that kind of worked.
No, that program requires a laptop, and so we're going to be moving to a 24-volt electrical system, TIA 2 Plus, and at that time, remote programming will have more access to that BBM. But currently, The only way to access and program that is through Volvo's proprietary software and through a laptop.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a very, very capable system, and it's very little understood. And I'll reach out to you after this.
Appreciate it. Don? Yep.
The preceding video was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found at tsp2.org. That's tsp2.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.